Thanks so much for listening into the show today. Matt and I only have one simple request. If you could please click follow, that'll help us out a lot. We do the show for free and for the community, and I hope you get heaps of value out of it. Thank you. Our very first podcast. You tell me what you think. So this is what I was thinking, right?
Really excited for everyone to be involved today and really interested to share some of the insights that we are seeing in market at the moment. So, hey, welcome everyone to our brand new Power Time podcast. Maybe we need to do a bit snappier. So just cut it down a bit. Let me have another crack. Super excited. This is our first podcast today. So I'm super excited to be here with Matt. Let's get into it.
It's power time. Get ready, let's go. Unlocking secrets leaders should know.
Hey everyone, welcome to Power Time. My name is Scott Meddings. I work for Microsoft and I manage the business application technical team across Australia.
Hey everyone, my name is Matt Noble and I run the business applications practice for NCS Australia.
Welcome to Power Time. This is the podcast where we talk all things low code, technology, career. So we're really interested in understanding the journeys that companies have gone on as well. So we're going to try and interview as many as we can. Matt, what are your thoughts? What are you looking forward to in the podcast?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to sharing, some of our really strong customer success stories and what customers are doing in the market, as well as challenging yourself, Scott, on, where the Microsoft direction is going when it comes to all things low code as well. So really excited to get some really strong and senior guests on. Really interested in sharing some insights into what customers are actually doing in market. So, yeah.
Matt, I can't wait to delve a bit more into your career. After the break, let's have a chat about it.
So my career started about 15 or so years ago. So I was on the tools as a Dynamics consultant as part of that. So I think what that's allowed me to do is really understand the product from an end-to-end standpoint and understand what customers were really looking to achieve as they've built Microsoft business applications technology. The last 5 or so years, I've really switched across to Power Platform and really how do organizations adopt Power Platform to enable their workforce to innovate and basically solve business problems utilizing low code as a platform as well. So I've been involved in about 20 to 30 Center of Excellence enablements, and that fully is the end-to-end strategy. So how do we strategize? How do we set up the team for low code? How do we enable the business to start basically developing personal productivity as well as enabling IT to solve those more medium to complex applications in low code? So I have a lot of experience. I've been through a lot of governance and it comes to that. So Scott, me and you have been on a lot of governance calls over the years, and that's kind of how we met during those conversations as well. But we are really seeing a shift in low code when it comes to organizations really understanding the business value prop now, rather than being worried about, what this citizen developer or maker concept is as part of that. So I'm seeing the narrative shift. So interested to see from a Microsoft standpoint, is that reflecting in your role as well? And what are you seeing customers really come to you with questions in when it comes to low code?
No, there's so many things that we should double click on in what you've just said. And when I think about our customers today and what's important for them, it really is embracing what AI can do for them and moving at pace. And I think low code's really centered around this, right? We've always embraced low code at Microsoft with the Power Stack. And I think about my career in the last 7 years at Microsoft. I've really started when that evolution began. So I've seen the growth across the platform, the growth in our customers. And it was true, I think, in the first 2 or 3 years of the platform, as you would expect, most people were really concerned across governance and how we secure the platform and how we don't end up with, sprawl of applications and things like this. And we've really done a great job of addressing that. And I don't really see that top of mind for a lot of people right now. I think where everyone was coming off the back of Access and these things going, hey, we've got so much in our organization, we don't want to see that again. But I think we've been able to really prove out and been really successful at proving out in a lot of organizations the value of strong governance and a center of excellence and all of these things. So you're right. I think we've moved on now from that strategy, and most of our customers really have this strategy embedded now, and they're now working really effectively across the platform. And now it's about value. How do we get value out of the platform? How do we drive change? And how do we do this in a world where we think AI is really going to make a fundamental difference? And, obviously Copilot is the word at the moment at Microsoft, and we've got heaps of content around that and heaps of proof points as this sort of evolves. But we're really at step one when it comes to the Copilot strategy and what we're rolling out. So it's going to be an exciting couple of years. It really is. So
Copilot's definitely front of mind. We're hearing all customers talk about it when I'm on calls, and it's a really sort of long meeting as well. I just drop Copilot in and customers really start to wake up as part of that as well. So I think it's very front of mind, and really organizations are looking at how they adopt Copilot. So a question back to you is, a lot of customers are asking me, when is Copilot going to be available within Australia? When is the infrastructure stood up? Because I understand it's really resource intensive to actually stand up these sort of data centers and all the GPU needed to actually support, the models that get made. So Scott, can you please share some of the insights, if you can, when it comes to actually enabling Copilot to be utilised within the Australian market?
I think, look, there's a lot to really go into when you think about localization, right? First is, how much of my data is actually moving across to another border, another country? Where's that data residency really, reside in, which countries? And, is that something that's going to impact my business? Because a lot of organizations, when you look at the data that's actually moving in Copilot, they're not really too concerned. It's going to North America, and that's okay. So, but the services are all still located here, Dataverse, everything that you would expect within the Power Platform stack is still located here. It's just the query going over to the language model. So for our more regulated industries that really care about this, for us, it's really about infrastructure. It's, the language models create a whole bunch of resource requirements around large GPU clusters. And I think everyone would have seen the $5 billion announcement for data center builds in Australia. And that's kind of what we're waiting for, right? So we're going to see localization roll out as the capacity comes online over the next few months. We've seen announcements come out recently on those timelines. So I think right now it's really just a matter of us waiting, but proving out the technology, but more importantly, seeing where the value is for each of our customers. I think what we're looking at today is really the first iterations of GPT. I mean, it's been going around for 10 years, but we're seeing the innovation that we're seeing right now is really sort of that ground zero. It's now usable in business. What is that? What do the use cases look like? And what can we do moving forward to really, grab that technology and do something with it?
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And what we're seeing is organizations get really excited about this technology, but we're still at the early adopter stage of how we can actually use this technology to actually solve business problems as well. And I think over the next sort of coming months, that'll really start to evolve as we start to get some tangible use cases from actually organizations adopting this. And then from there, we can start to have those really informed and structured conversations. But at the core of it really is data. So I think data and security is at the core to everything Copilot and everything Gen AI related as well. So I think that's where Microsoft Fabric becomes involved as well, to really ensure that you have that really strong data governance and data structure as well, to make sure that your Gen AI is really working effectively throughout your organization as well. So Scott, Power Virtual Agents is potentially being removed and being rebranded to Copilot Studio. Is that something that you can maybe elaborate on? I found that update first off really interesting, but also really exciting with what you can actually do within this new sort of Copilot Studio framework as well. So anything from Microsoft to share when it comes to that?
Well, when I look at Copilot Studio and the rebranding at PVA and what we're going to be able to do with that platform, nothing makes me more excited, I think, about a technology right now, because Copilot Studio really brings the innovation that we've been talking about in Copilots into a central place where we can go and configure and really customize our Copilots that we're going to be pushing out to our customers. And, Office Copilot can be configured in there. We can go ahead and we can theme the Copilots. It's really that central place now where we can go and make an impact. And I think that's what customers were really looking for. It's like, I think we've got a last count over 150 co-pilots now that have been released. Our strategy is clear: AI in every product, and having a way to be able to go manage that moving forward is really exciting. So I'm keen to see how it gets rolled out. I mean, we really like Power Virtual Agent. Now it's become sort of a part of Copilot Studio as a product, and really keen to see how our customers go and use this and develop their own copilots to do their own things that are really centered around their organization. But what's really interesting, I think, and is what use cases everyone's going to use this technology for. I mean. Yep. You and I have spoken about this in the past, which is, do we still have, applications for simple tasks for employees, for instance, or do we move that into some sort of language model and have that really address those needs? So there's a big internal employee focus. But question for you, Matt, what are you seeing amongst your customers when it comes to Copilot? I think we're in two camps, right? We've got those that think it's scary and it's Terminator and it's going to take over the world, and we've got those that are going, this is amazing innovation, we need to embrace it, we need to control and govern it, and we can see huge benefits. And which camp are you in? I'm hoping not the first one.
No, I'm really excited about Copilot as well, and we hosted some customers at Microsoft about a week or so ago for the App Innovation event, and I think Ryan Cunningham actually went up and built an application with Copilot. So first of all, that's showcasing that the technology actually works. If the vice president is on a live demonstration actually building an application with a Copilot, and customers were really, really impressed with that. So what we're seeing is really customers excited about the technology. There's obviously some unknown. They want to get their hands on it as well. So we're seeing a lot of potential conversations start to occur, and they're really challenging us about where do they see the Copilot direction moving forward. Now, we are seeing some potential, virtual agents or Copilot Studio conversations as well, to have that sort of internal virtual assistant that can crawl across all your internal data to provide, the right information at the right time, utilizing that technology as well. But where I'm really seeing Copilot for Power Apps in particular is really to fast track that onboarding for your internal SIP makers. Yeah. So the ability to build like an expense management form, they can just interact with Copilot extremely quickly, and that's allowing them to really come on the journey and understand how to piece together a Power Platform solution as well. The Power Automate Copilot as well, natural language to converting that out and building out your Power Automate flows. I see that again being really helpful for those personal productivity SIT dev makers as well within particular business units. It's really just going to fast track their adoption and when it comes to actually building out Power Platform solutions as well. Now, within Copilot as well, we're still seeing partners and sort of technical developers as well having a part to play. Yeah, you can't hand off a Copilot to build a really critical application at this stage. Yeah? And I don't think that's the intent from Microsoft either. I think Charles, when I caught up with him in Las Vegas, kind of reiterated that point. It was really about those sort of personal productivity applications initially as well, and then the product will kind of learn and evolve and start to be able to become more powerful as the technology platform sort of evolves when it comes to that as well. So we're seeing a lot of interest from customers as well, but they are sort of at the beginning of their journey. Yeah, they're not going to enable Copilot for everyone at this stage as well. They're going to sort of target particular sort of certain strong level sort of tech savvy business users within their organization to handle that first, and then from there start to roll out that within their sort of community of practice models, all of that kind of stuff as well. So it is very front of mind. It's coming up in every single conversation I have at the moment. Organizations are very excited as well, but I think they're still in that crawl, walk, run phase. They want to understand what it actually does first, the potential, risk, governance, all of that kind of stuff. And then from there, they'll start to adopt that more effectively moving forward. So yeah, that's what we're hearing from the ground. They are really excited about it. So like I say, I think it's Copilot also in GitHub, you can actually also help professional developers and fast track that. So I think there's some recent statistics about 60% more turnaround time when it comes to actually building pro code utilizing sort of Copilot as well. Yeah. So we are seeing it being a platform or technology that can surface everyone. Yeah. And I think that's why it's so exciting as well. So that's what I'm hearing from the ground, Scott. So yeah, any questions on that, mate? Let me know.
I think we've got lots of questions, but it's a good time to take a break right now. I think we could just about bring our first guest onto the show. And with that, all right, Welcome back, everyone, to the show. It is with great pleasure I'd like to introduce our guest on the show today to talk about all things app modernisation, Mr. Bert Wijns. I might hand it over to Bert to do a quick introduction before we get into some questions. Bert, over to you. Who are you and what do you do?
Thank you, Scott. So Bert Wijns, I'm one of the two founders of Power Accelerate. So we founded the software startup about 3 years ago now, I think, where we modernize legacy applications towards the Power Platform and automate the majority of that. So we've been around and on this journey, I think, for a little bit over 3 years now, and started off a bit as a fun learning exercise, like we were seeing in the market that customers were looking at modernizing apps towards the ever-growing popular Power Platform. And they were realizing that it actually was quite expensive to do that, because even if a customer has 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 apps, if the average cost of that is quite high, you get to a large amount. And we figured there's probably a way where we can automate a bunch of these tasks. So we've built a tool and a piece of software which does an automated assessment. What does an application do? And we support a bunch of source systems, Lotus Notes, MS Access, Excel, Mendix, SQL, and I'm forgetting one, Infopod. And we basically scan that. We give you an assessment of this is what we found in that solution, and then we extract the data model, so tables, field types, do mapping towards the Power Platform, move that data model towards the Power Platform, migrate the data, and then we also generate application components. So these can be model-driven applications for the backend, and then also Canvas apps based on a template. And as of last week, we also just announced our Copilot product, where we can take logic which exists in a source system, can be VBA code or Lotus script, and we developed a Copilot which can help you move those to the Power Platform as well, make recommendations on how to move that and which tech components to use.
That's pretty impressive. I can't believe it's been 3 years. I remember when you started up Power Accelerate, so I'm feeling a little older right now. That's, phenomenal. And Copilot integration as well. That's really cool. So pretty keen to see that now. Now we'll have to do some sort of demo to check that out. But awesome. Great solution. And I think it makes it really easy to migrate some of those workloads that are really, really difficult.
From a partner standpoint, but we've obviously communicated a lot over the last 12 months, and I'm a definite big fan of Power Accelerate. But we've worked on a number of customer sort of engagements together. Can you tell me about what makes up the perfect sort of customer for Power Accelerate for those that might be listening and they might be interested in, modernizing their existing application footprint?
Yeah, so there's a set of parameters, I guess, which we've seen quite often, and most of the time there's a link also to the source channel. Like if you take Lotus Notes, we're probably looking at a customer who has built a Lotus Notes landscape over all of those years, have been trying to get rid of the on-premise servers and the hardware, still paying for licenses. So they're looking to make a business case around moving from that infrastructure and those on-premise licenses towards the Power Platform and getting all of the business benefits of that, which can be productivity, better insights, access to Copilot technology and large language models. So there's, I think, a parameter of it is the source channel. Like if you take MS Access, we can be a customer. We've got lots of public sector customers who connect through Citrix to 32-bit MS Access applications, and they're looking to migrate to MT65. And so they need to get rid of these old legacy apps. Can be Infopod, SharePoint on-premise. Again, customers are moving away from it, but they've got hundreds or thousands of forms still in Infopod, and they're looking for a solution. So I think the source system defines a bit of it, but then also I would say our ideal customer also has parameters in the Power Platform world. In an ideal world, they have some experience with Power Platform. They have built a first set of apps. They have set up a bit of governance around Power Platform as well, so they can almost drive a little bit of self-sufficiency as well. So they're not 100% dependent always on external parties.
So Bert, what do you think is top of mind right now in the industry when it comes to this topic? I mean, obviously some people listening to the show right now will be going, we don't really have any latest notes and things like that. But I mean, we still see a fair bit of that kind of legacy application. But the industry in itself does have a lot of applications. What are you seeing with your customers and what's top of mind?
Yeah. I think, Power Platform is growing at an incredible speed, and the innovation now with all these Copilot technologies is you're seeing a shift where citizen developer maturity through these OpenAI technologies actually increases. So customers are able to do more themselves. At the same time, like over the years, customers have so much shadow IT. In many cases, where we see a customer is that those MS Access developers from 10, 15 years ago are actually really good at becoming citizen developers as well, because they've done this. But there is a lot of legacy, shadow IT. IT departments don't really know what to do with it. They don't really know what's there. And they are keen to move to this modern world, getting access to that data, but it's just expensive for them. Just the average cost of moving one application is pretty high. And with our automation, we can reduce that average cost quite a lot. And that is really compelling to these customers. Having said that, I think our Copilot product takes this even further now, where we can also tackle a part of the logic piece. But no customer is going to spend money to spend money. So they need a compelling reason, like why would they take this app towards the part of them? What is the business outcome I'm getting because of that? And some of these source systems have like a total cost of ownership benefit, like you're getting rid of some hardware or some licenses. But I think the biggest thing now which you see these days is generative AI, like taking a piece of data which still sits on legacy technology, you bring it to a modern world like Dataverse, and then it opens up all of these generative AI possibilities on top of that data. I think that's a big driver we see as well.
It's an excellent point, isn't it? Because if we can tap into that data, all of a sudden you can just open up chat and just query the data. It makes it really, really easy. We were kind of thinking, Matt and I were talking about SitDev, or talk about it all the time, that topic, right? And we thought, SitDev, maybe it's dead this year. Maybe we're not going to see it. Maybe it's the platform's just too hard for the average person to kind of configure on, even though it's getting easier. And then Copilot drops and we see all this AI technology. It's like, go build me an app, go configure this form and things like that. And all of a sudden we're seeing this massive acceleration into SitDev. So I kind of agree. I think, SitDev's it's going to be the rise of citizen development again with this AI technology. So
yeah, citizen development 3.0. Yes. Through OpenAI.
Yeah. Is that your official term? SitDev 3.0 is coming. So yeah.
Really just want to drill down on one of the points that you alluded to before, Bert, because I really agree and it really resonated with me. It seems like now the cost to do nothing is outweighing the cost to migrate, given what's happening with technology and what you can build really in those really intelligent application scenarios. Would you kind of agree with what I'm saying there? Is that kind of the point that you wanted to reiterate when you were going through that before?
Yeah, a lot of customers have been sitting on this legacy technology, like Lotus Notes. Customers know for 10 years that they want to get rid of it, but they've been waiting and kicking that can down the road. But now generative AI might really be, and automation, of course, might really be the proof point for them. Like, okay, we need to act now, because if we wait, that data is going to sit there and we can't use this new technology on top of that. So it's a driver which we see out there, which is making a lot of these customers move and take action. A lot of them are stepping that like taking small steps first. So they try one app, we start with an assessment. But once they see the possibility and the automation and that we can really automate a lot of this work, you see an acceleration as well. And I think also, Matt, we discussed it before as well. You could look at setting up these app migration factories, and it's a concept which has been around for a very long time. But now if you combine that with automation, and then a factory, you can actually move a lot of apps for a relatively okay cost for the customer as well.
Yeah, that's a big one, and it's obviously something that we do a lot of as well. So for those listening that don't understand the concept of an app migration factory or how to approach establishing one, but given your experience in market, how do you sort of tackle a big complex application migration? And obviously, what are the supporting teams and structures and frameworks that you obviously need to be successful? You've obviously done a lot of it during your experience at Power Accelerate, but we really want to share back to the community and those listening for those interested. So, yeah.
Yeah, let me focus on a couple of aha moments, I guess, which I've had over the years in this area. And I'll start with one. Like a lot of these big enterprises, they will have done assessments, and they will have paid a lot of money to do assessments as well. And then they spend 3-4 months going through a landscape, seeing what's there, analyzing into details. But eventually, all they get at the end of it is a big PDF report and an Excel file. And they know, yes, we now done an assessment. Okay, it's expensive to move. and that's where they are. And now, okay, yes, it's X millions to move these apps. No one's going to act on that. And so I think what you need to add on top of that is you need to actually take one or a couple of apps, do the automation on top of them, and show them what the output is so they can get a sense of the output and get some hands-on experience with that as well. And then those business users are the ones you're going to have to convince in the end. You're going to have to show them the benefits of that as well. And if you show them the benefits, you can then also create a business case around those benefits. So it's not just, don't just run an assessment. I mean, you still need an assessment, but include a number of proof of concepts or MVPs as part of that migration. I think it's a big learning moment, which we've had at least.
Yeah.
One of the things I've seen work as well, I reckon, just to add on top of that, is this concept of educating the team before you introduce what the outcome might be. So what I mean by that is, if you've got a team, let's say today they're building applications on Access, or it maybe still on Lotus Notes or something like that. Sometimes when you go in and go, hey, we're going to move everything to this new platform, they're not on board. That's their estate. They've done it for the last 10 years and they don't like that change. So we've seen some success lately of going in, educating the team first and go, hey, here's Power Platform. Let's have a look at it, get them skilled. So then when you do come back and go, hey, Power Platform is our remediation platform for these things, they're more acceptable of that solution, if that makes sense, which is really, really interesting. So I think there's a really big education piece as well, right?
Now, 100%, I think the education piece is key as well. And I think the other one, and I'll zoom in on another one as well, is if you have 1,000 Lotus Notes app, you likely don't have to migrate all of those 1,000. So it makes sense to prioritize which ones are still in use, and even for the ones which aren't in use anymore, which ones have valuable data. A large part of this could also be an activation exercise. And like we discussed earlier, OpenAI could be really good there. Like take, if you have 1,000 apps, but only one of them are still in use and you want to move them, those other 900, move them to Dataverse, apply a large language model on top of them, and you can query all of that data for the rest of your days. So that I think it's also important to prioritize which one of these apps are important and bring a lot of benefits to a large number of users as well.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And I really love that idea of the data migration straight over to Dataverse, because obviously a lot of it's just the data that's obviously important as part of these legacy applications. So utilizing tools such as Power Accelerate to get that data into a more modern platform is really powerful and really beneficial. Also, as part of this, I think with that whole application migration factory, we could also use that to fast track adoption by obviously embedding the business into those fusion team concepts. So, Bert, have you had an experience as part of that in these large-scale applications where business users have been sitting with partners or IT as part of this to sort of fast track that capability uplift longer term?
Yeah, I mean, we are quite flexible from our side, so we can work with partners, with end users that directly. But most success we actually see when you get a mature partner in there, and they start driving self-sufficiency a little bit as well with those business users. It shouldn't be about having a partner there and being there for as long as possible. It should be about working with them, learning them, and change management as well. Like some of these things if we run the automation and they have to do some configuration on some forms. Some of these tasks can actually be done by the end users as well. I think the other side of this is like, what does an app do? I mean, we talked a bit about Lotus Notes. In many cases, one of the core reasons why customers are also moving is because their Lotus Notes experts are retiring. They're leaving the company or have left the company a long time ago, and they don't have a clue what these apps do anymore. So it's important that you have a layer of business people inside of that as well. So they can help you get an understanding on what does this app do, how do we move this to a modern world, and how do we translate that old application concept into this new world where a lot more is possible from a technology point of view.
Hey, Bert, one of the things I wanted to just double click on a little bit was you were talking about the language model sort of, impacting, say, 50% of the apps or the landscape, but we've been sort of tossing this idea around, if you look at an app landscape in the enterprise or even in small customers, and you go, I'd build an app for that. It's getting now to just build a chatbot for that, right? And I'll give you an example, like annual leave, right? You build an app for annual leave, or you just stand up a language model that just says, hey, go book me annual leave. What days have we got available? It's this day, and just go do it. And so have you put any thought around what percentage of apps need to be apps? Or, are you seeing that in customers? What are your thoughts around that? Because I kind of think there'll be a reduction in apps.
Yeah, right. I mean, I fully agree that there will be a lot less. And I always joke a little bit on this as well. Like, 40 years ago, when you were working in a company, you would contact an admin and say, hey, I want to have holiday at that date, and they would book it for you. So this chatbot is in a way an intelligent version or an automated version of...
I'm sure there's still some sales managers that get their EAs to do that right now as well, but so it probably still goes on.
Exactly. So that just highlights the opportunity even more. So I mean, if you ask me for a percentage, I would say it highly depends on the complexity of the use case. But I would probably estimate it at 60-ish%, because a lot of these apps, depending on the platform, of course, were created by an early version of citizen developers as well, let it be in MS Access, Infopod, Lotus Notes. Those were some of the early citizen development platforms. So the complexity of those might not be as high, but you always, we face it a lot as well. You always get called into that one customer who's been building a custom ERP system in MS Access or Lotus Notes for the last 10 years. that app's not going to go to a chatbot. There, I think you have a lot of complexity. You need a dedicated analysis and move that as well. But that's almost like a critical line of business application.
So you spoke a bit more about obviously infusing the Copilot into obviously Power Accelerate. Is there anything else on the roadmap? Because you are a bit of a forward thinker, and I always bounce these really creative ideas off yourself over the last year. What's next on the roadmap for Power Accelerate? Where do you think the product can get to, obviously to keep up with the demand that technology is going with?
I see Matt's trying to get secrets out of me again. The usual. So there's a couple of areas I'll highlight. We just announced the Copilot product, which has support now for MS Access or VBA code to Power Platform. We will have support for Lotus Script as well. I think some other areas which we're actively pursuing are, let's say you're converting a form, we're creating application components in a form. You can actually ask a large language model, like, I have these 3 tables and with these fields. How would you order those fields on a form? So these are simple, small things, but they actually, it's very useful for that. I think another thing we're looking at is around UX and UI work, where you have a certain color scheme. You can tell a large language model, hey, I'm creating an app and my company's colors are orange and gray, and we have a logo in those colors. What would you recommend for us for the application colors to be? And then based on that, basically generate the application component. So there's so much usage in that. Some other thing we're looking at is we have relationship detection, especially for some of our more immature data sources. Like if you take an Excel sheet, everything looks like a text field, and you can only detect relationships based on values. But you can say like, hey, I have these two tables, and these are the values inside the tables. Can you run an algorithm on this and see which fields in these tables could be relational fields? And so there's a million possibilities of what we do. With I call it logic and smart logic, and I'll call it intelligence as well. But taking that to the next level through these OpenAI technologies is really insane how we can improve our automation on average from, let's say, 60% to 90%. I think so. We really see a big impact from this OpenAI technologies, even in our world.
Hey, Bert, one of the things I really like about your product is the ability to be able to standardize a template, right? And just punch out the same consistent look and theme every time. So maybe we talk a little bit about standardization and how your product supports that, because I think it's a great way to be able to help organizations to have a consistent look and feel.
Yeah, I think there's two key areas which I see there. One is standardization of data model. If you have 100 Lotus Notes apps or MS Access apps, there's going to be tables which have overlap, like let's say, a contact table with person data. So we, for the data modeling, support common data model mapping, where you create a common data model and then you map to common tables. Like people data can go into a contact table rather than creating 10 contact tables in your target. I think that is a key piece of standardization, and also with our data transformation features, you can also do cleansing and some transformations on that data. From a UI perspective, a lot of customers actually love that feature of generating apps based on a template, because in traditional citizen development, a lot of people work on these ugly blue and white apps with the standard icons. And I think a lot of people have an allergic reaction to that as well. So the fact that we can generate a Canvas app as a starting point for citizen developers, like there's some IT departments using our software. If a citizen developer has an idea for an app, they reach out to IT, they fill in a form, and then IT would use Power Accelerate as well to generate a data model and then generate a starting point Canvas app based on their template with their UX design, logos, custom controls. And then a citizen developer does the configuration piece with that template. And all they really have to do is see, okay, where do I put my fields? Maybe add an additional screen where you can start from that template. So there's a lot of value in standardization here as well, because this becomes a massive task as well as an IT organization. If you have 50 citizen developers and they all start creating apps at scale, before you know it, you'll have a color book of apps. And UX design is important for end user adoption in any kind of mobile development. If it's Power Apps or something else, it needs to be usable.
So we're at the dawn of AI and we're at the dawn of the template, but is that what you're trying to tell us here? There's sort of two areas that we're going into moving forward.
Yeah, it's a combination as well. I think with OpenAI and generative AI technologies, we can improve those templates even further. We have a lot of standardization capabilities, but I think on a roadmap there's a lot of opportunity to improve that even further by, things like auto-generating templates based on a set of questions we ask it. So I think the combination is going to get the product even further.
Awesome. Well, Bert, I just want to say a big thank you for coming on the show. Your knowledge is hugely valuable to our listeners, and we really appreciate the input that you've had over the last sort of half an hour. And maybe we can just end with, if anyone wants to get in touch with you to talk more about Power Accelerate, how can they do that?
You can reach out to me through LinkedIn, drop me an email at info@poweraccelerate.com, go to our website, fill in the form. I'm typically very responsive. And we started this as a bit of a learning exercise 3.5 years ago, and it's grown to a company. I've learned so much from that, and even the experience and helping these customers with this really complex problem has been really satisfying as well. We learned from that, and and we're happy that we can help these customers out there.
Maybe that's a topic future down the track, but we'll bring you on just to talk about how to create a startup and grow a company from nothing to where you're at today. So yeah, fantastic. Thank you, Bert. You're always welcome on this show.
Very willing. I mean, I'll sign me up for that show. That's a really cool topic to talk about as well.
We might have to double the length of that one, Scott, considering some of the stuff that goes on at starting up a startup. But thanks again, Bert, and really appreciate your time, mate. So yeah.
Thanks for the opportunity, guys.
Well, that's it from the show today. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Just a quick reminder that anything Matt and I have spoken about today is our own point of view and not a point of view from Microsoft or NCS. And if you could please click follow, that'd be fantastic. And thanks to everyone that supported us on this podcast, our production crew, the whole team. Thank you so much. Have a lovely week and we'll chat on the next one.